What is going on, everybody? Good Sunday morning. It is your boy, the Bad Diggity Dizzle. Please forgive the audio on these videos coming up because something happened to my microphone where my computer all of a sudden is not picking up the audio from the microphone, so I have to use the built-in microphone. Unfortunately, I don't exactly know what the deal is. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe my microphone is faulty. I really don't know. So forgive the audio. No, I have not shaved. Mr. Entertainer Senior, I will take care of that today. But again, just a heartfelt thank you to everybody that was in the streams the last 3 days. You guys were absolutely phenomenal. I just want to go over the draft a little bit. I do plan on doing a video later today about Javon Leake from Maryland. This is another guy that I really wanted to talk about. Obviously, you guys know that I was a big fan of Anthony McFarland, and Javon Leake is a guy that the Giants signed as an undrafted free agent from Maryland, and I'd like to go over him a little bit and maybe some of the other undrafted free agents that we signed. I didn't mention, Benjamin Victor yesterday. So, and the other receiver that we got that was 6'7". I got to do a little research on those guys. But I do want to go over the draft. And I think the New York Giants had an absolutely solid draft the last 3 days. Now, I know a lot of Giants fans were kind of upset with the direction we went. We didn't really get that flashy player, maybe outside of Xavier McKinney, who was an absolute steal at 36, best safety in the draft by a mile. And a lot of my subscribers brought it to my attention that if you look at all of his grades, and again, I don't put much stock into PFF, we know that. But if you look at his grades compared to Isaiah Simmons, he's ahead of Isaiah Simmons in almost every one of those grades. So, obviously, Xavier McKinney is an incredibly versatile safety and can do a lot of things, and it was no doubt. Dave Gettleman had a trade all set up if McKinney was not there, and as soon as the Giants got on the clock, you saw their pick was in. Dave Gettleman definitely wanted Xavier McKinney, and why not? Dallas was going to take him if CeeDee Lamb was not there at 17, and there's no doubt Dallas had their eyes on McKinney. It seemed like Dallas and the Giants did a lot of chess playing. The Dallas Cowboys traded up in front of us to get the center yesterday as well, so just a little chess between the NFC East opponents. But the New York Giants are doing this the right way, guys. We are building a foundation for the future. Yes, we went with a lot of linemen, and that has been a major issue over the last few years. We all saw that at the back end of Eli Manning's career, that he just had no protection, and he really suffered because he was constantly getting slaughtered back there. This is a great way to build your foundation, man. You build a team from the inside out, meaning you start in the trenches and you build your way out. Wide receivers are a luxury, and obviously we're looking at them in the undrafted free agent market. These guys, maybe practice squad players, maybe special teams players, maybe you get a diamond in the rough and you have somebody that contributes like a Victor Cruz, did for us, but you don't really expect much of those guys. The Giants really went after what they needed, and that was the offensive line. And they did address the defense, obviously, getting Xavier McKinney. They did get a slot corner in Holmes, and they did a lot of things that, they needed to fix. And the New York Giants got a lot of value for their picks. They really did. But I know that a lot, when we got to day 3, there was definitely guys who were watching the stream that we wanted. We wanted Tuska, we wanted Hodgins, I wanted Gabriel Davis myself as a wide receiver. Guys wanted Colin Johnson. We wanted Biotish. We wanted Harris. We wanted Hennis. There was a lot of guys that the New York Giants fans were hoping that we got. We went in a completely different direction, and a lot of Giants fans were like, oh, that's a terrible pick. That's a terrible pick. Me, I'll be honest, I didn't know enough about those guys to say if they were bad picks or not. But when you get to the 5th and 6th and 7th round, you're just hoping that these guys contribute in any way. But I love what they did in this draft. And a lot of people are saying this is a Patriots type like draft, where they don't go after the edge rushers. They don't go after these really flashy players. They just kind of build within the trenches. I love what they're doing here. And again, we are rebuilding. So this isn't going to happen overnight. We're not going to be a 10-11 win team this year. I think we've succumbed to the fact that we are, rebuilding. You have to understand that this will pay off in a couple years. There is no quick fix on a bad team. We've won 12 games in the last 3 years. You're not going to have one draft and it's all going to be done. We had our players that we liked later in the draft, but it's not like, all of a sudden, we draft a Gabriel Davis or we draft an AGG out of Liberty you know, Gandy Golden, we take him and all of a sudden, oh my God, all our problems are fixed because we got the guy I want to know. That's not how this works. Unfortunately, this is not Madden football. You just don't plug in certain positions and all of a sudden you're a great team. That's not how it works in the NFL. It's not always pretty the way you do it. Like when you're building a house, nobody sees the foundation. You only see what's above ground. And it can look great above ground. You can have it can look really flashy above ground. But if that foundation's weak, your team is weak. We can have all the receivers you want. We can have the best running back in football, which we do in Saquon Barkley. But man, if your foundation is weak, meaning your offensive line, your house is going to be weak. Your team is weak without your offensive line. So I love what they did here. Again, it wasn't a flashy. It was just a businessman, blue-collar type of draft. I think they did a great job. I give these guys a B+ for the draft. I think they did phenomenal. I know Walter Football rated us very high. I believe we got an A-. A lot of sites did give the Giants a very high grade for the draft. And again, it may not look sexy on paper when you look at Andrew Thomas and you look at Matt Peart and you look at Lemieux and you look at, you know, all these guys that we took, all these linebackers we took in the later rounds. It may not look like a lot, but trust me, this is going to pay off in the future, and I'm just I'm excited for the future of this team. I really like the way they handled this year's draft, and I like the way they handled free agency. Like I said before, Jerry Reese in 2016 ruined this team with terrible contracts, horrible drafting for 8 years. He was a terrible drafter, and again, he put a lot of bad contracts in here. He tried to cover a gaping wound with a Band-Aid, and it worked for a little bit until that wound got exposed again over the last 3 years. And that's why we are where we are. So I think Gettleman and Judge and the rest of the Giants staff did a great job in this draft. I know some guys aren't going to like it, and I completely understand that. I completely understand the want for Isaiah Simmons and your AGGs and your T. Higgins, although T. Higgins wouldn't even got to us in the second round, either with Michael Pittman. They went very early. But I understand, you want the flashy receiver, you want the big-time linebacker, you want the massive edge rusher. I get it. I want those things too. But the fact of the matter is, if we get those things without any O-line, it wasn't going to help us anyway. So I like what we did. Again, if you made it this far, guys, I will be live tonight at 10:30. We'll do a little draft recap with a little Q&A, and I hope to see you all then. Until then, bad diggity dizzle, I'm gone.